What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we're doing an Arceus Giratina Flying Pikachu deck profile, but I'll also be talking about ways to change parts of the deck in and out. So it could just be considered Arceus Giratina Bibarel with a possible Pikachu VMAX inclusion, depending on expected meta, how the metagame develops. You know, we are in pre-Lost Origin being in official events right now, so very early days of constructing these decks and trying to analyze what the metagame will look like and how we should build these decks. Before we get into it, shout out to all of my sponsors. You can find links and coupon codes in the description down below. PotownStore.com for PTCGO codes, CardTrooperGames.com for physical Pokemon TCG product, and Dragon Shield sleeves for your decks. And then also check out Beast Coast Pokemon, a collaborative Pokemon YouTube channel, and PokemonCard.io for viewing, sharing, and creating deck lists. Also, subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Leave a like and a comment. Now, let's get into the deck profile. So, Giratina is a new card from Lost Origin, and actually the Giratina V and Giratina VSTAR are both going to serve purposes within this deck. Also note that within early drafts of my decks, the way that I like to build my decks, I'm typically going to be trying out a couple of different things at the same time and seeing how they work. An example of this, I have one Big Charm, one Choice Belt, and one Tool Scrapper. The Tool Scrapper can be used to either remove a Choice Belt from the opponent's Giratina while we have a Big Charm attached, so that they will not knock out our Big Charm to Giratina. It can also be used to knock off the opponent's Big Charm so that we don't need our Choice Belt. So the Tool Scrapper can work with our Big Charm and our Choice Belt, and just work in general against some of the decks that I expect to be playing Big Charm to make their Pokemon tankier, Giratina and Arceus, since Giratina hits a natural 280. But we might see that maybe it's just better to play 2 Choice Belt and no Tool Scrapper, or just play more Big Charms and no Choice Belt. Maybe the Scrapper isn't needed, maybe one of the tools aren't needed, but I like to test them all out at the same time, essentially, by playing one of each and seeing how they work. The 1-1-1 split is also not a bad idea, and that might be the way we go with it. So we're starting out with a list very similar to the World's winning list and the second and third place lists as well, just minus the Jolteon. What's nice about Tina is that the Tina V and the Tina VSTAR can both replace Decidueye and be better than Decidueye in most cases. So Giratina V, it even has a consistency tool as the first attack, just like Decidueye V has, but it also has a shred attack that goes through things. It even does more damage. So this shred can be used to knock out a Miltank, which you normally wouldn't be able to hit with a V-Star, VMAX Pokemon. So Shred 160 and it goes through effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's just a nice attack to have at your disposal within the deck. And then Giratina VSTAR has lost impact. It does 280 damage. Now, you do have to put 2 energy attached to your Pokemon in the Lost Zone, so if you can get like a double turbo on your board somewhere, an extra double turbo that you don't need, that's going to be great fodder to just send to the Lost Zone with this lost impact, so you don't have to send your basic energies to the Lost Zone. So this 280 can one-shot Giratina, Palkia, Arceus, whereas the Decidueye V-Star was essentially just being used to hit that fighting weakness. So Giratina V-Star is better than Decidueye in my opinion, and Giratina V also fills that role of Decidueye V, which is really good. I am only playing a 1-1 line of Flying Pika for now in this list. That's what I'm trying out, because a lot of times Giratina VSTAR can just be so aggressive that against something like Palkia, you might not even need Flying Pikachu VMAX. So Flying Pikachu VMAX is kind of here for the blocking out basic Pokemon, and a little less for Palkia V-Star matchups. It's still going to be good against lightning weak things, but I think Max Balloon is going to be more so for the utility of blocking out attacks from basic Pokemon. We have the one Crobat, and I'm choosing Drapion V right now as our Mew VMAX counter, along with the 3 Path to the Peaks and the Marnies. So the idea of playing Path to the Peak and Drapion at the same time is if we played Path and Marnied the Mew player and they did not remove the Path to the Peak from play, they probably did not have an amazing turn with Path to the Peak in play being a Mew VMAX Genesect deck. So if that Path to the Peak is still in play, we probably don't need to one-shot the Mew with Drapion V. But if they remove the Path to the Peak for us and have a great turn, that path is gone, and now we can put down our Drapion and take a free one-shot on a Mew VMAX. With Wild Style, this Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless less for each of your opponent's single Rapid or Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, and you do 190, which will knock out Mew VMAX for free. And of course, Arceus V-Star, Trinity Nova 200, attach 3 basic energy to your Pokemon V. Just the most efficient Pokemon card around. Its Starbirth V-Star power also searches your deck for 2 cards. And Trinity Charge is also very good, turn 1 going second to search your deck for up to 3 basic energy and attach them to your Pokemon V. So we will never be using Star Requiem. We will always be using Starbirth as our V-Star power in this deck. I'm playing one Hisuian Heavy Ball because I think it covers our bases really nicely in this deck list in particular, since I'm playing 1/1 Bidoof, 1 Crobat, 1 Drapion, 1 Lumineon, 1 Pumpkaboo, and 1/1 Flying Pikachu. I think the Heavy Ball really just fits in nicely with this deck. Another new thing I'm trying out is Thornton. So Thornton reads, choose a basic Pokemon in your discard and switch it with one of your basic Pokemon in play. Any attached cards, turns in play, other effects remain on the new Pokemon. So this can essentially turn any basic Pokemon into a Ditto V for the recycling of another V Pokemon. So let's say you use Drapion to knock out Mew VMAX, and they knock out that Drapion with a Mew VMAX. You can then Thornton to turn any basic Pokemon on your board into that Drapion again, and then switch into it and knock out the Mew VMAX again. It's also good for a situation like, let's say we're playing against an all basic deck, something like Regigigas, and we Trinity Nova or Trinity Charge to our Flying Pikachu on the bench, and they boss and knock it out. If we also had like maybe 1 energy on something else, let's say we attach 2 energy to Flying Pika and 2 energy to a Giratina. If they knock out that Flying Pika, we can just Thornton and change that other Pokemon into the Flying Pika, and then evolve it with Flying Pikachu VMAX, and then we're right where we want to be. So I think Thornton, with the fact that this deck was already running Lumineon V, I think the Thornton makes sense in here to at least give it a shot. Other than that, we have a lineup of 4 double turbo energy and 3 grass, 3 psychic, and 2 lightning. I feel like the 2 lightning is fine since Pikachu only takes 1 lightning. We're only playing a 1/1 line of Pikachu. We're playing 2 Professor's Research, so we're not going to be discarding our entire hand too often, and we do play a Raihan that can get an energy back from the discard pile. So I think I'm really comfortable with the way this list looks right now. One of the things you could do is drop Drapion and maybe Hisuian Heavy Ball for another 2/2 Bibarel, if you think that Marnie Path is enough against Mew VMAX, or if you don't think Mew VMAX is going to be around. That's essentially the only reason we have this Drapion V in there. It is just a 1-card tech for Mew VMAX, so if you think you can handle Mew VMAX without the Drapion, or you don't expect Mew VMAXs, the Drapion can get cut for something like another Bidoof or another Flying Pikachu. And if you drop the Drapion Hisuian Heavy Ball, that could turn into 2/2 Flying Pikachu or 2/2 Bibarel, maybe a 4th Path to the Peak. So I think the deck is this Arceus Bibarel Tina deck. That's the core, I think, and the rest is pretty modular. So it's kind of nice. You can put other things in and out as you please. Maybe Water Energy and Empoleon V for the Lost Zone stuff, and Regigigas as well, if you wanted to try maybe 2 Lightning and an Empoleon V, and then you can completely take out the Flying Pikachu VMAX line. Then you even have 1 spot left over after that. So yeah, I think this is going to be a consistent tier 2, tier 1.5 deck. I think it's moderately easy to play, but it definitely has a ceiling of skill expression because you do have a lot of cards going on all at once. And like I said, I think it's modular, that you can take pieces in and out as you please to adapt to the metagame. So let me know if you have any questions about this deck in the comments down below, and I will leave the PTCGO export in the description. As soon as PokemonCard.io is updated with the new set, I'll start leaving links to that, and you can get the export from there. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.